Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lords of the Night. With me, as always, is the Lord of Pennies, Satsu 2 cents.
Hello. It took everything in me not to be like, God damn, it got quiet.
This is like I said, we haven't given you a Lord name. Well, this is your first time. Is this your first time on here? I can't remember now. Second time. Okay. You were on a night I wasn't here, I think.
True.
That was
you joined later.
That's right. Okay. So did we have a Lord name for you at that time?
No, we did not.
Lord of something starts with P. I don't know. Is there something about your life or otherwise that would fit, you think?
Not that I can think of.
Could she be the Lord of Pleasantries?
Aw.
I don't know. Are you pleasant?
Her voice
I can fake it.
Oh, okay.
the Lord of Pretend.
The Lord of Pretend.
The Lord of Pretend. That almost sounds like godly in a way, but yes, the Lord of Pretend, Becca Fairley.
Hello, everyone.
So Becca, for those in the audience, and I don't think there's many, but on the off chance, you have your own YouTube channel. Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
I have a show with Johnny Bonsaco and Mr. Moo, and it's called No Opinion. We do that 3 times a week. And then I recently started my own solo stream called Fairly Just Becca, which Scribe calls me when he notices me in the chat.
Fairly Becca.
Yep. So that's what I'm doing other than real life job stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun.
And links to Becca's channel and her Twitter are in the description, guys, if you are curious to check it out. And if you do consider subscribing and keep an eye on Becca. Let's see. But regardless of that, how are you doing today, Becca?
I'm doing very well. Had a long day of work, and now it's the start of my weekend, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yay! Thank you, Terry Diamantis. This girl version of Monkey is way better than the old one. Yeah, so let's address that real quick. So, as of right now, at least, Monkey will not be joining us tonight. He apparently got 0 sleep and is in great dire straits of tiredness, so he is taking the night off. Now, if you know Monkey, like the rest of us do, it's possible he will drag himself onto the show anyway at some point. So we'll see. But at least for the time being, Monkey will not be with us tonight. But that's fine. We can survive without him, strangely enough. Thank you, tall person. Hoyal can't stay. We'll watch later. Happy National Creamsicle Day, everybody. God, when was the last time I had a creamsicle? I don't even know.
It's been a while for me, too.
Yeah. Got to make sure I don't turn into a diabetic. Satsu, how are you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I got a video out today, so I felt accomplished. I didn't work out, so then I felt not accomplished. And I helped Squishy cook and recorded another video, so I felt accomplished again. And now I'm on the show, so I don't feel accomplished again.
Okay. Well, it's just one big game of badminton for you, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, all that being said, Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies, video games. Hit that like button if you have not already, and obviously, many of you haven't. And please share our stuff. Share it far, wide, and sideways. If there is a content creator on YouTube that you appreciate, it is very helpful if you tell other people that you do, because YouTube doesn't. And we appreciate you guys spreading the word, because you are our best algorithm. Anything else to mention before we get into the wonderful world of the schniz?
Aaliyah's birthday is in 9 days.
That's right, Aaliyah.
Well, 10 days, technically. Her party is in 9 days.
Oh, okay. Well, that'll be fun. Are you going to stream her party?
I'll probably stream some of it, because we're going to be at my mom's house hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys will get to see Aaliyah and my mom and
yay,
everybody else, and we'll be having a good time. As a matter of fact, we're going to be cooking the day before.
Mm-hmm.
So some footage from that might come up on my cooking channel.
All right.
Nice.
Thank you, Bicala Driving 8 Man, for the unboxing emoji. I suppose we are unboxing the news. Sort of. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah, we'll stick with that.
And Satsu and Becca, I'll need you to keep an eye on the control panel deal. If Monkey pops in, I'm not going to be able to see it because of all my other tabs. So if he shows up, give me a high sign so I can let him in.
I will
Okie dokie.
not do that.
Appreciate it. Okay. Well, let's see. What do I have on here? I got a bunch of weird stories today. A lot of. I mean, when you go to CNN, you see, especially now, it seems like it's gotten worse over the last several weeks, but just analysis, opinion, propaganda stuff that doesn't really say anything about anything. It's just blah. But there are some things that happen that are in politics that are probably opinionated, but it is a thing that happens. So we have a birthday, apparently. Whose birthday? Ashley Minted. It's my husband's birthday today. Well, Ashley, what is your husband's name? Let us know. Blind Press, thank you so much. So should Weibo and I be doing aerobics in front of mirrors? Also, Scribe, anytime you want to join this Trek stream, you are more than welcome. Thank you, Blind. Yes, and I get that reference, by the way. Yes, the Star Trek thing. A channel I watch, Red Letter Media, they've been doing, well, for quite a while, they've been doing reviews of Star Trek stuff, and they went over their top 5 favorite Next Generation episodes the other day, or the second part of it, and I was thinking, what am I going to do for the theme? I haven't done a Star Trek one in a while. Have I done Next Generation? I can't remember. Okay, and then I started working on it. I was like, who should I put in here? I'm like, let's see, because I mean, obviously me, Satsu, and Monkey, and then who else? I know somebody who likes Star Trek, and I was like, how can I get Blind's avatar on here? Because Beverly Crusher has a lot of hair, and that's not easy to sort of smush out of the frame or anything. And so I had to up my Photoshop skills a little bit and get really creative with layers to make that work. So yeah, so I'm glad you like it, Blind, or at least the concept. But as far as Trek, honestly, I'm not that huge a Trek nerd. I like Star Trek. I could probably throw out some trivia here, there, or otherwise, but I don't know if I'd be much use on your stream. But we'll figure it out. I'll get in touch with you. We'll figure it out. Thank you. This is Kyle. Hello, chat people in Lawton. Thank you, Kyle. Johnny Hellcat, thank you so much. There is a Donnie Yen movie called Enter the Fat Dragon. That is all. I can believe it. Yeah. Thank you, your boy Pat. Today I'm officially on vacation, plus Sunday is my 42nd birthday. Well, Pat, I'll have to be reminded to sing birthday to you tomorrow because we're not on Sunday, but we'll do it Saturday. Hopefully Monkey will be here to do that one. But I got to check here and find out, did we find out what Ashley's husband's name was, or did I miss that?
It's Alan.
Alan. All right. Well, in the absence of Monkey, I will do my best to stand in for him. Alan, we hear it's your birthday today, and around here, we do this. And Satsu's going to sing with me.
Oh, I am?
I can try my best.
Okay, you
no
want
promises, though.
You want to take the monkey spot so Satsu can do his interjections?
Sure.
All right, then. And a 1. And a 2.
Happy birthday to you.
Try harder.
Birthday to you.
This is sad.
It is. Happy birthday, dear Alan.
Okay, that was a little better.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Alan. I hope you enjoyed that. And if you did, you might want to get some help. All right. Let's move on to the wonderful world of news. This is how it reads, and this is an opinion piece, apparently. I couldn't avoid it because there's only so many things in the world. Republican, condemn the birther attack on Kamala Harris. Here we go again. Who's writing this? This is by Douglas Hay. Hey, Douglas. Here we go again. As news of Kamala Harris's selection to be the Democratic vice president broke, Democrats were warning that racist racist and sexist attacks on Harris would be coming. Yeah, because anything that would be a criticism of her would probably be classified as racist or sexist. As a Republican who saw how Democrats often stayed silent when Sarah Palin was caricatured as a caribou Barbie doll.
What?
I don't. Okay, admittedly, I was not paying as closely to politics and the slings and arrows of that at that time, so I don't know. Was that a common thing?
I don't think I've ever even heard the term.
I heard Thrilla from Wasilla quite a bit, and things making fun of her. And I can see my house. I can see Russia from my house or whatever. But caribou Barbie doll?
Yeah, that don't sound.
Does that sound familiar, Becca?
No.
I don't know that one. Okay, and sees now. Don't get me wrong. Sarah Palin was the target of many a joke. Let's not dick around about that. So,
sure, but I just that phrase does not. Ring.
Yeah, that one in particular does not. Yeah, so the left is completely capable of making fun and belittling someone, even though Sarah Palin kind of invited it with her own behavior. I mean. Anyway, and sees how Democrats seem to call every Republican policy or criticism some kind of microaggression or outright racism. I was prepared to roll my eyes. Oh, okay, this guy is coming from the right side of the aisle. Except they were not wrong. Okay, first came the Newsweek opinion piece, quote, some questions for Kamala Harris about eligibility, unquote. Okay, which made its way through the pro-Trump echo chamber, including a Trump campaign aide, up to, inevitably, the president himself. At Thursday's news conference, the president gave another variation on his, quote, many people are saying, unquote, theme, which, of course, CNN and other places never use. Quote, but this is a quote, but that's a very serious ... You're saying that, they're saying that she doesn't qualify because she wasn't born in this country, unquote, the president incorrectly said. I did not expect that the Oakland-born Harris would be subject to a reprise of the birther attacks used to falsely question Barack Obama's legitimacy, but having had a front-row seat to watch at what my party has devolved into over the past decade, maybe I should not have been surprised. At a prominent meeting of Republican officials in the South in 2011, a Barack Obama impersonator was hired to tell black jokes and walk out into the crowd playing Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA. Okay. The audience loved it. Mark Meadows, who is now the White House chief of staff, was heard on video saying we should, quote, send Obama back to Kenya in 2012. And in the basement of the Capitol at the House Republican Conference, I watched as one Republican member, Louis Gohmert, who is honestly the stupidest man in the Senate, joked at an open mic to his colleagues, can you hear me? Yes, there were groans. There usually are when Gohmert addresses his colleagues, but not universally. And while serving as the communications director for the Republican National Committee and its first African-American chairman, I had to deal with an otherwise well-meaning staffer who posted a sarcastic joke on Twitter, a place where sarcasm does not work. Sure it does. I mean, it takes a little bit of talent and context, but it can work. About our president being Muslim in 2010. Instead of pushing back on the story, I decided at least one Republican needed to come clean on this nonsense, so I made the following statement, as there's fire trucks going off behind me. Okay, I'll try to keep going. Hopefully they're not coming to my apartment building. Quote, the RNC has never spoken about the president's Christianity because it is both crystal clear and a non-issue, unquote, the statement read. I still remember typing that statement out, typing the word religion, then replacing it with Christianity to make the point finer. The statement brought me a lot of praise from colleagues of both parties and from journalists. Sam Stein, then at HuffPost, called it, quote, perhaps the fullest distancing yet of any Republican entity from the Obama is a Muslim rumors. But did it put a dent in any of this? Sadly, no, and the worst is yet to come. Okay, this goes on for a long time. Yeah, Kamala Harris is completely eligible to be vice president or president. She was born in the U.S. She is over the age of 35, and she's a natural-born citizen, etc. So, yeah, anybody saying otherwise is just literally talking nonsense.
Yeah, in other words, we agree. Dismiss this bullshit. It's a distraction, and it's a waste of time. And even the people on the side who are entertaining it, who are just like, oh, there it is. It's like, no, just don't. You're fueling the flames. Don't even let it just let it die in a corner somewhere with all the other bullshit. Don't acknowledge it.
Yeah, I mean, if and I've heard it plenty of times. People have been complaining about criticisms made of Trump that are simply not true, provably not true. And we've done that many times on here.
Right.
Criticize somebody, criticize them for things that are actually provably true or things they actually say or do. Otherwise, you're turning them into a victim and you make yourself look like a moron.
Yeah, just don't entertain that shit, man.
Yeah, and Kamala Harris, she's created plenty of material of her own accord. You don't need to like search for a conspiracy theory. Look at her record. Look at what she says and does if you want to find some material to criticize.
Exactly. And I also like how they conveniently forget that it was the Hillary Clinton campaign that put out the birther stuff on Obama. The Republicans ran with it, but it initially came from Hillary.
Yeah, they never talk about that bit.
Exactly.
But anyway, so that's, in summary, that story goes on a bit more, but you get the point. But away from opinion to actual news, things that actually happened. Federal court strikes down California's ban on high-capacity magazines. So People and Time and, Tiger Beat, yeah, you can have giant magazines now.
Scribe, go sit in the corner.
Oh, thank you, Connor Johnson. How would you describe the films of Sergio Leone? That's how I do it. A federal appeals court on Friday struck down California's ban on large capacity magazines, LCMs, labeling it a violation of the Second Amendment in a consequential 2-1 split decision ruling. The Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. This is surprising. The Ninth U.S. Circuit Court is usually relatively liberal on these things.
Right.
This is actually surprising. The Ninth Circuit maintained that the state's ban on magazines holding more than 10 rounds of ammunition breached the core right of law-abiding citizens to self-defend. The majority said that the ammunition is, quote, typically used for lawful purposes and are not unusual arms that would fall outside the scope of the Second Amendment, unquote. Quote, armed self-defense is a fundamental right rooted in tradition and the text of the Second Amendment, Judge Kenneth Lee wrote for the panel's majority, consisting of himself and Judge Consuelo Callahan. Thank you, McCall, the Driving Ape Man. It was a BS law to begin with. I don't pay attention to gun laws, really. I don't really have reason to. I'm not a gun owner, so I don't know what's going on in California as far as guns are concerned. But news to me. Let's see. Lee specifically noted that the scope of California's ban is, quote, so sweeping that half of all magazines in America are now unlawful to own in California, unquote. Judge Barbara Lynn, however, countered in a dissenting opinion that the California ban didn't represent a violation to residents' Second Amendment rights. Quote, the difference between using a handgun versus a rifle for self-defense, for example, is much more significant than the difference between using a magazine that holds 11 rounds versus a magazine that holds 10 rounds, Lynn wrote. Hold on. The difference between using a handgun versus a rifle for self-defense, for example, is much more significant. Why?
She's not a gun owner, obviously.
Look, these bullets hurt much more than those.
I'm willing to hear what her reasoning is. Does she get to it? Quote, for this reason, the prohibition on LCMs is more analogous to a restriction on how someone exercises their Second Amendment rights by restricting the number of bullets a person may shoot from one firearm without reloading, unquote. Okay, so you're talking about capacity and accessibility. So a handgun, like let's say a 9mm or a Glock or something, can conceivably fire faster than, I don't know, a bolt-action rifle or something. Of course, it depends on what kind of rifle we're talking about, but
exactly.
But yeah, I mean, again, I'm not a gun owner, so maybe there's some nuance here that I'm missing, but I don't really get that argument. The prohibition on LCMs is more analogous to a restriction on how someone exercises their Second Amendment rights.
Well, I think because they're saying like we're not stopping them from having guns, controlling how many bullets they get to fire out of one at one time.
So so from this perspective, the first analogy that came to my mind was the gun is your mouth, and the number of bullets is how many words you're allowed to say.
I guess.
And so we're not. And so it's analogous to a restriction on how someone exercises their Second Amendment rights. I'm exercising my rights, but only to a limit.
Well, maybe if it's like you want to get an apartment and they like, okay, you can have a cat, but just one. And it's like, you're infringing on my rights to have pets. It's like, no, you can have a pet, just one in this apartment complex or something like that. Like, I don't know. That's a weird one.
Yeah, like I say, maybe her argument makes sense in context to the rest of the dissent or something. I don't quite get that one.
No says you can have a driver's license. You're just not allowed to buy fuel.
Well, yeah, or you're allowed to have a driver's license, but you can only drive X number of miles in a given period of time or something.
Right. You're only allowed to travel this far.
Right.
That's weird. That don't sound right to me.
Yeah, thank you, Piccolo. They thought 15 rounds was less deadly than 10 in a pistol. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm more than willing to entertain arguments about limitations on gun accessibility and other things, depending on what it is. But the problem is, and this will always be the problem for anybody who wants to argue elsewise, the right of the people shall not be infringed. And I might be slightly paraphrasing there, but it's those two words, the people. I was one of those people who not that long ago only saw, as far as the Second Amendment was concerned, the well-organized militia part. And it was like, oh, that's an antiquated notion. We don't really do that anymore, et cetera, et cetera. So the language is being enforced in the wrong way. And then a video I watched years ago now from Vernaculus, he pointed out, he's like, let's read the amendment, shall we? The people. I was like, oh, yeah. Okay. Now, that doesn't suddenly make me a gun enthusiast. I don't particularly like guns or comfortable around them, despite they've been in my family, my household most of my life. But I can't get past that part as far as like rationalizing an argument inherently against the text of the amendment as being wholly antiquated and non-applicable to, modern day. So anyway, that's for courts to hash out. I'm just a pleb. Let's see. How about we move on to, you guys like mail? And I'm talking about like the MAIL, not MALE. Maybe do like the second one. I don't know.
As long as it's not a bill.
Right.
Oh, that was a double meaning too. Very good. I like that.
All right, I'm down.
All right. USPS removes mail collection boxes and reduces post office hours as critics accuse Trump administration of voter suppression.
Now, here's the thing about this story, and I didn't read it or anything, but when I read this over on Facebook, the claims of this, I was thinking, like, is the implication here that the post office is working directly for Trump? Because they didn't say he did it. Nobody said it was ordered. There's no information about it being like, something that he set out to personally do himself. They just said like the post office has decided to do this thing. This is all a part of Trump's plan. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, I honestly, I don't know what the mechanisms are for how the post office is run. I don't know what powers the executive has over it. Maybe the story will tell us. But if they're reducing like drop-off points and hours and everything else, voting or otherwise, that's not good news regardless.
Yeah, and once again, like I've been trying to figure out like how does this benefit Trump? Because if an entire area is going to be doing absentee voting, which is what it'll be if it's not mail-in, by the way. A lot of people keep mixing up the two. Mail-in voting is something you already have established in your area, and you will be sent something. Absentee voting is something you have to apply for, or they will send you a request or an application for you to apply for it. That's going to apply to everybody there, including Trump voters.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, restricting voting across the whole, like if he was somehow able to restrict voting in specific districts or something, or like weaken the postal service in specific Democratic districts and states to states or something, then maybe I could see that. I don't even know if that's happening, but let's see.
Yeah.
The United States Postal Service has started reducing post office operating hours across several states and removing their iconic blue letter collection boxes as it faces intense pressure to deal with millions of mail-in ballots this fall, according to union officials. Okay, well, that paragraph doesn't tell us why they're doing it. Hold on. Let me read the story. Officials say that in the last week, the USPS has removed letter collection boxes in at least 4 states: New York, Oregon, Montana, and Indiana. The USPS has also begun notifying postal workers in at least 3 states, West Virginia, Florida, and Missouri, that they will start to reduce their retail operating hours, according to union officials. Presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden called the removal of letter collection boxes bizarre during an online fundraiser Friday. Quote, "I was joking earlier with a couple on the call. I wonder if you're outside trying to hold down your mailboxes. They're going around literally with tractor trailers picking up mailboxes," he said. Quote, "You ought to go online and check out what they're doing in Oregon. I mean, it's bizarre," unquote. And Senator Ron Wyden, a Democrat from Oregon, called the removal of the letter collection boxes, quote, "voter suppression," unquote, on Twitter, blaming President Donald Trump. Wyden said the president is sabotaging the election, quote, "right under our noses." So wait a second. Okay, let's go over these states. Okay, New York, Oregon, Montana, and Indiana. Okay, now New York and Oregon, I'm fairly certain are solidly blue states.
Yes.
Montana and Indiana, I'm not. Indiana, I think, isn't it classically red, or am I don't know. West Virginia, Florida, and Missouri. I'm pretty sure. Now, Florida, of course, can go either way, depending, but I don't see how, like Satsu was saying, I don't see how there's an advantage in taking, or if it is Trump doing this, they haven't even told us what the reason is yet, but if Trump is somehow Machiavelling this, doing it in Indiana, West Virginia, Missouri, and Florida doesn't seem like good news for him.
Yeah, well, like from what I've seen, a couple people who I know, some people are like, I work for the Postal Service, or I have people who I know who work for the Postal Service, and they were giving like explanations. I know the one person said the reason that they were reducing the amount of boxes is because they wanted to be able to kind of consolidate where all of the mail-in ballots were going, because they assumed like less boxes means we have less places to go and get them. You know what I mean? Like, we can have them all in one place. They're easier to collect that way, or in just less places. And a few people gave a couple other explanations, but I still haven't quite figured out exactly if Trump suppresses the vote in an entire place, in an entire state or city or whatever, like he suppressed all the votes, including his own. So how does that help?
I'm looking through the story to see what the justification is, and either CNN doesn't know or they're not specifying. Thank you, Drew W. How is this the only way to mail envelopes now? Well, I mean, so far as I know, votes, I guess you could independently send it via FedEx or something, but most people wouldn't go to that trouble, and it's an extra expense that you shouldn't have to pay. So they have a lot of bits and pieces here about talking to union officials, and it's the union officials who say they're doing this specifically because but USPS spokesperson Kimberly Frum suggested the removal and installation of the almost 142,000 letter collection boxes nationwide was routine and, quote, has been based on mail volume received in those boxes. Frum said that the Postal Service has been putting more emphasis on stabilizing the number in use and moving, quote, low-use boxes to high-traffic areas, unquote. Frum did not immediately respond to CNN's questions about the reduced hours in West Virginia, Florida, and Missouri. Okay, so there's no clear explanation as to why this is happening, except that the union officials say that they're doing it because of volume things.
Which
at least one does
sound like you can hear an explanation typically and be like, okay, that's bullshit, but that don't sound invalid. And also because of the fact that there's a pretty high chance that most people weren't looking around for trucks carrying mailboxes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before this whole mail fraud thing even became a question, or this thing about Trump even happened. So what we'd have to figure out next is exactly, is it something that's common?
Well, my main question is, and it doesn't look like they say it in here, does the executive have direct control over the Postal Service's hours and mailboxes? I mean, if you say, okay, Trump has been criticizing the whole mail-in voting idea, and like, okay, fine. Does that mean directly translate into an action he's taken that's done this? Because if you can't draw a line between Trump taking an affirmative action to make this happen, then I don't know what we're talking about here. And so far as I can tell, nothing in this story, except for putting Trump's criticism right next to what the Postal Service is doing, aside from association, there's no connection.
Yeah, they've literally presented no evidence at all that Trump has any influence on this decision.
Yeah. But then I don't know what the powers of the executive are. So I mean, maybe he is. I don't know, but the story doesn't tell me.
Well,
according to Wikipedia, because I just looked it up and it's the first thing that popped up, it says it's an establishment of the executive branch of the government of the United States, as it is controlled by presidential appointees and postmaster general.
Okay, so conceivably then Trump would have to be issuing orders to his appointees to then trickle those down to specific areas.
Right.
Okay, now if he's actually done that, there should be some public memo somewhere or something.
Dude, Trump can't shit without everybody knowing about it. So trust me, if it was out there, we'd know. So
well, or at least soon enough. If he issued a directive to the postmaster general saying do this here, 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 and here, and this is how I want you to do it, yeah, we'll find out. There's really no doubt about it. I mean, there's so many eyes and ears open for anything that smells fishy about the election. Even the people who are so paranoid to go Russia or whatever. I don't mind people being paranoid about the integrity of our elections.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The people that go absolutely bug nuts into la-la land on things and start making political movements over nonsense, that's different. But people being like on the ball about, let's make sure our elections are legitimate and fair and there's nothing ridiculously hinky going on. I'm fine with that. So if Trump literally issued a directive to the Postal Service and said, I want you to reduce the ability of people to use the mail in these jurisdictions, that would be ridiculously insane. So far, all I've heard is that he opposed the amount of funding the Democrats are asking for regarding propping up the Postal Service in the recent stimulus package. And his comments besides during that interview, I don't know. As always, Trump saying something versus Trump doing something are two different things. His sentiments and his intentions don't mean anything to me unless he signs something and makes it happen. Real quick. Thank you, Drew W. People still have personal mailboxes and mailmen come to everyone's house daily. Those mailboxes are rarely used. I mean, if that's the justification they had for taking out the big blue ones, okay. But yeah, everybody's got a mailbox. The postman still comes around, so it's not like they're saying, I mean, the hours are reduced. Maybe that'll cause some kind of backups. I don't know. Professor Chaos, thank you. The USPS is bleeding billions and have been. The media wants to bail out like the Democrats, and mail-in voting is the excuse.
Yep.
Could be.
Yeah, I just, the one thing I do know, the one thing that we can say for absolute sure is the people pushing this narrative, the people pushing this story, they know for an absolute fact that they don't have to provide any evidence that Trump actually did anything or not. Yeah. When they're telling this story, they know it's irrelevant. It's like, well, did he actually do it? That's not really the issue here. We have this thing that sounds like it's connected to this thing, therefore Trump is evil. And they're like, oh, okay, well, that's enough for me.
And even in that article, they said they were removing these boxes from low traffic areas and putting them in high traffic areas. So they weren't completely gone. They were just relocating them.
Yeah. And that goes, not only does that go against the narrative put there, but it actually makes them look extra stupid.
Yeah. But I mean, now, like I said, the one thing that'll cause me some eyebrow raising is if this is all being done because of a presidential directive. And especially, I'd be curious if that is true, and I don't know if it is or not, but if that is true, I would then want to know, how often has Trump issued such directives during his term? Did he just suddenly decide to start meddling, and I'm using the word, in the Postal Service, or is this something relatively routine? I don't know, but they haven't told me that Trump did this or that Trump's responsible for this happening. And the fact that they haven't said that, but tried to do a God of the Gaps theory on this thing,
Mm-hmm.
Makes me suspicious. But all that aside, we're already into MSS news time. So guys, if you have news stories you would like us to read on the air, please send them to us via Twitter using the hashtag MSS News. Can't promise we'll get to them all, but that's because I'm long-winded, and oftentimes frosted glass makes us talk a long time about one thing. I'll put blame anywhere but me as often as I can.
All right, Trump.
All right. Here comes one from Keeverdam, and it's from themirror.co.uk. So, mirror cock. Passenger's foot massage on plane sparks outrage and leaves people gagging. Did he have foot fungus or something? When it comes to traveling on a plane, there are certain unspoken rules of etiquette we all follow. Okay. For instance, use headphones if you're listening to music, and don't recline your chair right back into someone's face. Okay, well, that first one, I think the crew would probably, well, electronic devices, you can only use the headphones they give you, unless you have like a very tiny little listening device. And even then, they usually tell you when you can and can't have electronic items on. But yeah, okay. And don't recline your chair right back into someone's face. Well, most of the chairs don't recline back more than about 3 inches anyway. So I don't know what kind of planes you're flying on. Because unless you're, I guess if you're in first class or something, but every time I try to recline in an airplane seat, it like goes back a little bit.
Yeah.
You just barely get like a tiny angle on it compared to what straight up is. But it's also common decency to keep your shoes and socks on during a flight. I've taken my shoes and socks off before because it's just like sweaty and uncomfortable depending on the plane. But you know, whatever. But we've seen people put their bare feet up on other people's seats and even use their toes to work a touch screen. Really?
What?
Yeah.
Admittedly, I have not flown on a plane in recent years that I've seen anyone use a touch screen, but especially not with their feet. But even if they were, how the hell would I see them doing it? A more recent clip of bare feet on a plane is currently doing the rounds online, and it sparked outrage. Shared by the popular Instagram account Passenger Shaming. Oh, that sounds like a productive pastime. The video shows a woman in a face covering giving the man sat behind her a foot massage. The man raises his leg in the aisle, so his foot is level with the woman's armrest. She then takes hold of his bare foot and begins rubbing up and down it. The post was captioned, JFC, come on, or Jesus fucking Christ. It has since gone viral, with many people commenting to share their disgust. Okay, I'll put the link in the chat so you guys can see. I mean, it's an Instagram video, but the freeze frame of the preview shows essentially what's going on. And that is about as unobtrusive a thing as I can imagine. And the only people who are going to see it is maybe the guy to the side and maybe a row or two back. And it's not bothering anybody. Unless the guy's foot like stinks like the dead or something. One person asked, what the actual fuck is this? Another wrote, I am not okay after this. Oh, fuck off.
Oh, jeez.
How are you injured? Can I get an injury
I'm
report?
not okay. My brain hurts. You try watching a TEDx and then say that, you jerk one. Thank you, Jaeger Pony. One flight I was on, a guy ahead of me was drinking vodka from a 26-ounce bottle and spitting in the aisle. He was arrested when we landed. Well, good. What? Like, just like, like, what a waste. Maybe it was cheap vodka. Either way, stupid. That's spitting in the aisle. This comes after a man left fellow passengers on a plane baffled by his attempts to reheat a slice of pizza. Okay. In an effort to warm up his snack, the man turned on the overhead light above his seat and held the pizza just millimeters from the bowl. Okay. That's like an easy bake oven method of heating up food.
Wait, he did what now?
He turned on the overhead light in his seat and he held up a cold piece of pizza to the bulb to try to warm it.
Wow.
Okay. Another one person said, that's an LED light. It doesn't put out heat.
Not all of them.
And not all, it depends, but okay. Yeah, so if you look at the picture, it's different, I'll give you. I can't say I've seen that before, but It's not bothering anybody. It's not blocking the aisle. Whatever. I don't know. Anyway, moving on.
All the jealous chicks. I wish I would love my man that much.
Let's see. Top Ramen Lewis sent us a video. So I can't read that. So if you're curious, he posted a monkey in the morning too, so maybe we'll go there. This one comes from Mercy of Wits, and we're back in Britain again with page 6, I think. Okay, who's this? Brawl breaks out after comic Big J Okerson dragged from stage. I've heard that name before. Don't I? New York City cult comedy hero Big J Okerson was dragged off the stage by a furious fan Thursday night, setting off a melee as fans and fellow comics leaped in to help Okerson. Joel Richardson, who owns Philly area comedy club Soul Joel's, tells us that a woman had been heckling stand-ups all evening. Why didn't you get her out of there then earlier? And when the headliner Okerson went up on stage, Richardson told him to give a nod if he wanted her booted. Surprised you didn't do it yourself earlier. Okerson declined, Richardson told us, as in the page 6 story, and said he'd use the belligerent guest in his act instead. Well, okay, your prerogative. But when she continued to disrupt the show to the point that Okerson, who appeared on Crashing and Louie, couldn't do his act, he called on Richardson to get her out of there just minutes before the end of his set. Richardson says that as he was escorting the woman, plus her husband, her mother, mother-in-law, and brother out of the show, the audience began to cheer. The ovation seemed to set off her brother, who rushed the stage, which was elevated around 4 or 5 feet off the floor, grabbed Okerson by the left leg and yanked him violently to the floor in front of the stage. Damn. Meanwhile, comic Luis J. Gomez, who hosts the Legion of Skanks podcast with Okerson, charged from the back of the stage and leaped onto Okerson and his alleged attacker as they were, quote, fighting back and forth, unquote, on the floor. There's video of this, so I'll put a link in the chat because I can't watch it right now. But Richardson tells us fans piled in to help the comics while club staff called the cops. Quote, I guess the guy was trying to defend his sister's honor, Richardson said. Although if you met her, I'm not sure how much honor there was to defend. Quote, Jay couldn't have handled it any better, Richardson told us. The guest was arrested and has been banned from the venue for life by Richardson, who tells us that in 14 years in the business, he's never witnessed a similar incident. Let's see. It was Okerson okay? Okerson said, quote, it was a crazy night. I'm okay. Everything's fine. The other guy's in a lot of pain and in jail, unquote. Okay. Well, aggravated assault, probably not a good idea.
There's always that one chick in the comedy clubs that can't hold her liquor, ruins it for others.
Mm-hmm. Now, don't be sexist, Becca. Guys can get drunk too.
It's not sexist if I say it. I have that pee power. I don't know if you're aware of that, Scribe. I get away with a lot.
Pee power.
Not here, you don't, young lady. On this show, we practice equality.
Noted.
This one comes from Frosted Glass. Would it be a night of news without frosted glass? I don't think so.
No.
This one comes from, can you believe it, Medium. And the headline is, The Strippers Fighting for Justice. Is there and I assume there has to have been at some point. There's got to be maybe it's an independent comic book out there somewhere where a superhero team is made up of, by night they are strippers, by day they are superheroes, something like that. Is there like a strippers superhero team out there somewhere?
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody in the chat will know, or I bet there's like an anime or something. I remember there was. What was it? There was a movie series in the 80s. I think it was called like Angel or something, and like the box was a split view box, and on one side it was a girl, and she was like in her private school uniform, and on the other side she was dressed up like a hooker, and it was like student by day, call girl by night, or something like that. And it turned into some kind of vigilante murder mystery movie or something.
Wasn't there like a Grindhouse movie or something with like? Super.
Well, there was zombies versus strippers. There was a little. I guess that was kind of grindhouse-ish, and that was like Jenna Jameson or something. Was it? What was the name of that one? Planet Zero or something? One of the ones that Robert Rodriguez and them did, or Planet Terror. There was Planet Terror where the girl had like the machine gun for a leg. And
yeah. Okay.
There was Death Proof, but I don't think the girls there were strippers. I think they were just like girls that went to a bar and got kidnapped by Stuntman Mike or whatever. Anyway, I'm going over my movie trivia. Bam Rose. I'm going to spell this out. BAMM, capital ROSE, all one word. Bam Rose was sitting in her backyard on a June afternoon when it had only been a week and a half since George Floyd was murdered by Minneapolis police, sparking protests across the country in defense of Black lives. A pole dancer instructor and stripper, Bam, 24. Okay, well, if Rose is her last name, why did you put it all as one word? Okay. Bam, 24, felt the time had come to hold her own industry accountable for the racism perpetuated against Black women who perform at strip clubs for a living. Okay. She texted the owner of Sin City, a strip club, that's original, in a strip club in a South Philadelphia neighborhood where she taught pole dancing classes. Quote, he's profiting off of Black and Hispanic women. I asked him, how do you intend to give back to us, unquote.
Wait. Hold on.
Well,
is he paying you?
I was about to say, are they not being paid for their work? Do they not get to keep whatever percentage of their tips they get? Okay, real quick. Thank you, Sanguine. Well, there is Stripperella. Oh, that's right. There is Stripperella. There's also Blubberella, but that's a different thing. There are also a score of stories with a group of vigilante hookers. I figured there was. I just didn't know if there was like an actual like a superhero team with like superpowers or at least Punisher-esque vigilante stuff.
Well, hold on. Because like this narrative is now fucking with me because she said them working there is him profiting off of Black women.
Yeah, but he's also profiting off white women.
Right.
Presumably. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's a specialty strip club. I don't know.
So if a company hires based off diversity to get more Black people in there, aren't they exploiting and profiting off of Black people?
Okay. Bam alleges her employer didn't have her number saved. So?
Okay.
Are your feelings hurt that you weren't on speed dial? After telling him who she was, he didn't immediately respond to her question. Well, I wouldn't respond either because I don't know what you're talking about. Unless he's not paying them, unless they are indentured servants or something. Sin City did not respond to requests for comment on the club's treatment of its Black strippers.
What do they do? Can we get to
Yeah.
I want to hear about the treatment.
Thank you, Shrouded Angel. Crime fighters by day, streetwalkers by night. Yeah. Well, no, strippers. I was asking about strippers. Not specifically, prostitutes, but, strippers aren't necessarily prostitutes. That same day, Bam announced that she would no longer work for Sin City via... Well, why? What exactly is the accusation?
Yeah. That story was very fragmented.
Well, it still goes. The post attracted over 500 likes and comments from strippers and allies supporting her decision and became a call to action. What is the accusation? Bam decided to switch to activism full time. Oh, because the stripper school wasn't working out? And is now the CEO of Stilettos Incorporated, a grassroots organization led by sex workers that provides support to Black dancers, not Latino dancers, and has called for a strippers strike in Philadelphia. The Stilettos, as they call themselves, well, yeah,
of course,
not alone in mobilizing for the workplace rights of Black dancers in the stripping industry. What? Okay, you have to tell us what are they denied versus anyone else. In Portland, more than 100 strippers went on strike in June against what they claimed were racist hiring practices.
Okay. No.
And organized rallies pressuring strip clubs to hold racial sensitivity trainings, hire Black dancers, and give them profitable shifts. Well, do they have an audience worthy of that? Okay, now we're going to affirmative action strip clubs.
Profitable shifts. So
yeah,
because you're Black or because you're good at it?
Yeah, that was what I was saying. It's like, okay, because yeah, right. I mean, are you going to get prime time just because you're black? Are they going to discriminate?
What it sounds like.
Yeah, are you going to discriminate against anyone who isn't black and not give them prime time? What?
So all the black strippers had the lunch shift?
I don't know. The hashtag "No Justice, No Booty" trended widely on social media in late June. Did we talk about that? I can't remember now. I know we read at least one story or two that right after coronavirus started, like a strip club started doing like deliveries.
Yeah.
Boober Eats. That's what it was. Boober Eats instead of Uber Eats.
Mm-hmm.
And there was something back then I remember about like the strip club that started doing that. I think it was in Oregon. Started getting flack for its quote unquote racial bias or something. But okay, at the root of the strippers' strike is a demand for better, safer working conditions. Okay, I mean, that applies to everybody, and what's unsafe about it? Fair wages. I don't know how strip clubs work, but I figure that there's some kind of base pay, and everything else is from what you earn from tips or people throwing money at you, and then there's some percentage that goes back to the club. I know some places that the strippers effectively rent their time at the club to perform in a way. I don't know how every strip club works. Thank you, McCall, the Driving 8-Man. Are these hoes going to get bouncers hazard pay? No. Maybe that comes with the whole safer working environment. And protection from sexual assault. Well, okay. I mean, most strip clubs have a no touching policy. And if you violate that, you get thrown out on your ass. And most strip clubs have a policy of walking all of the dancers to their cars at night, etc. Now, granted, there might be low rent or podunk strip clubs that don't do those things. So sure. Even though strippers are the main entertainers at strip clubs, most of them are independent contractors, who pay stage fees to perform. Right, like a lot of hair salons, you rent your chair in a hair salon. As a result, they are not guaranteed safety, fixed wages, healthcare, or recourse for the sexual harassment, stalking, and rape they experience on the job. Well, if they tell them before they apply to work there, these are the rules, this is how we operate, and they still decide to do it, and they sign a contract or a lease or whatever it is, that's them doing that.
Okay, so we don't get any of that shit from YouTube.
Yeah.
So I'm a little.
I mean, unless they're arguing that there needs to be an industry standard for all strip clubs, like I don't know, federal laws that regulate how strip clubs have to operate on a basic level.
I mean, well, that's a different argument then. Sure, yeah. That's what you want to push. Then
let's see. We have to pay to work here, and customers are coming in because they want to grope women. Bams. Okay.
Oh,
yeah. Their desires to do so. Again, usually, and I don't run a strip club, but I've had friends who have worked with them. Strict rules about no touching in most strip clubs, unless there's something shady going on or they have different whatever.
And as far as I know, it's no touching the women, not no touching the white women.
Yeah. And if a girl defends herself, she's out, she's fired, especially if she's a black girl, unquote.
Big X to doubt.
Well, I wouldn't say X to doubt, because that could be the case in a lot of places. Like I've seen, but the doubt for me would come at the fact that it's this type of behavior is exclusively performed, at black women. Because if a place is scummy like that and they're just letting women get abused, all of the women are being abused.
Yeah.
It's not just a select group.
Oh, now I'm not going to go too much longer with this because it's going on already too long, but a word is used in the next section heading that I first learned in one of my earliest videos that I had never heard before that video, and I've rarely seen it since, but here it is. Misogynoir in the stripping industry.
Okay.
Have you heard of misogynoir before?
No.
I've heard you say the term once, yes.
It's specifically misogyny within the black community.
Okie doke.
Yeah. While stripping evolved from burlesque, well, sure. I mean, burlesque had stripping It's just a different, never mind. A racy dance that emerged in the Victorian era. It has always found its roots in the creative labor of women of color.
Really? Okay.
Belly dancing, a fixture at an 1893 Chicago exposition that displayed a racist human zoo. Racism in 1893 Chicago? You don't say. Paved the way for exotic dance and the foundation of the modern strip club industry. Well, then obviously, if the modern strip club industry has roots in systemic racism, we should shut them all down.
Yeah, that way none of you will have jobs.
Yeah, just shut them all down.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll put the link in the chat if you guys want to read more of this for some reason, but that's enough of that. I'll do at least one or two more stories here because we did dwell on that a little bit. Okay, this is grim. This one comes from senior staff reporter and chief Florida correspondent Colleen Bernier.
Bernier.
Yay. She actually updated her Twitter profile with that title finally.
Nice.
Yeah, on recommendation from someone else. It's like, hey, why don't you have that in your title? Oh, okay. So now it's official. She has a byline on her own Twitter account. Prison inmate hanged himself with coronavirus masks, officials say.
What?
That I didn't think coronavirus masks were either long enough or sturdy enough to do that, but okay. A prison inmate in Connecticut this week hanged himself in his cell with a cloth mask that had been issued to him as part of an effort to prevent the spread of the coronavirus, correction officials and the state's chief medical examiner said.
For how, though?
Well, how, but also if you were that intent on hanging yourself and you're going to do something as ramshackle as using a coronavirus mask, why not just use your undershirt?
Or literally anything else in the room.
Right. I mean, your pair of prison issue pants would probably do you better. The inmate, Daniel Ocasio, died Wednesday after he was found at 5:07 a.m. with a ligature around his neck while he was sitting on a bunk at the Corrigan Radgowski Correctional Center in Uncasville, Connecticut, the state's Department of Corrections said. A ligature around it. Am I off base in wondering, are you sure that wasn't murder? I mean, somebody being strangled with a thin piece of cloth like a coronavirus mask makes more sense than somebody like, oh, well, now that I have a coronavirus mask, I'll hang myself. My pants were just too long for this job.
Right.
The chief medical examiner, Dr. James Gill, ruled Thursday that Ocasio's death was a suicide. Okay. Ocasio, 32, who lived in Windsor, Connecticut, had been held at the prison in southeastern Connecticut since August 5th on an outstanding charge of third-degree burglary. That's it? Okay. Prison officials said he had been unable to post a $10,000 bond. In Connecticut prisons, much like in other state and federal prisons, the virus has spread among inmates and correction officers. It has prompted new safety protocols for testing and mask wearing. But elsewhere, masks in some instances become a flashpoint between civil rights groups, which say that inmates don't have enough personal protective equipment, and prison guards who say that masks could be used by inmates to harm themselves or others. Again, I mean, I don't know how. I won't guess as to how things work in a prison when it comes to like giving somebody a little piece of cloth, but Ocasio's death is being investigated by the Connecticut State Police. Why? It's a suicide, right? A spokesman for the agency said such an investigation was routine. Okay. When an inmate dies in custody, the Department of Correction is also investigating. I mean, a third-degree burglary, and you're going to hang or kill yourself? I mean, people are crazy, I guess, but that seems bizarre.
I feel like that fact alone warrants the investigation.
All right. Mata Winter says, Scribe Light, no, those prison garbs are made out of poor material in almost all cases to prevent suicide. Well, still, I mean, if you have a pair of pants and you twist them together, you can make a rope of a kind. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot to strangle yourself. So, okay, that's a bizarre story. I'll do one more. I know I've gone a little long here. Let's see. Okay, we'll end on something that sounds ridiculous because it is, because it's the mirror again, and this one comes from Shrouded Angel. Did I already do one from Shrouded Angel? I'm sorry, I can't remember now. Did I?
I think no.
No,
I'm not sure.
Bride slammed for extensive list of dress code requirements sent to guests. Oh, and they have the list. Oh boy, okay. A bride's extensive list of dress code requirements for guests at her big day has been shamed online. The styling guidelines were shared by one of the invitees and asks those attending the nuptials to follow the, quote, soft, romantic, sensual, yet elegant theme. You guys ready for this?
Ready.
Styling guidelines. Classic glamour, soft, romantic, sensual, yet elegant. Attire. Formal floor-length dress, stylish, sexy, no sleeves, lace or prints. Open-toed heels, 3 to 4 inches, no wedges. Bridesmaids black, sisters deep plum, mother of the groom to be determined. Beauty. Makeup, full makeup with lashes. Hair, down, half up or stylish ponytail, soft loose curls, no accessories, braids, or beachy bohemian hair. Nails manicured, short or medium length in any shape except stiletto. Clear, natural, subtle French, light metallics, or light pink tones. Jewelry and accessories, delicate accents in metals, stones, and refined shells. No bulky pieces or facial piercings. Professional services, makeup, $75. Hair, $75. Gel manicure, $30. Gel pedicure, $40. Tips and facts. Late August is typically in the 80s during the day and the low 70s at night. The entire venue is paved. No need to worry about walking in sand, gravel, or grass. If you plan to take aspirin, i.e. to avoid foot pain and heels, keep in mind that when combined with alcohol, you get drunk 30% faster. Bring a phone charger in your evening bag. Make choices that highlight your favorite physical attributes rather than trying to mask the ones you dislike. You will be in photos, on film, and appear on social media accounts of family members, friends, the hotel, or other vendors. Please confirm attire, jewelry, and accessories by August 1st by emailing or texting image to Bria. If you are bringing a male date, kindly ask him to wear a black tux. The end.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to say is it's her wedding. The second thing I'm going to say is all the people who are friends of this woman know she's like this. Because there's no way she was this meticulous in her wedding and is not that type of person on a regular basis. So whoever the fuck is going there willingly, they know what they in for. Like this probably is not a surprise at all to the people attending. Just a whole bunch of people saw it on the internet and was like, oh, the horror.
You know, I gotta wonder if there's not some ulterior motive behind all that. Like, I'm trying to ward people off so we can save money on the meals we have to provide, and or B, ward people off so I don't have to deal with a whole bunch of coronavirus stuff in my own wedding.
Could be.
That's a good point. If I was one of her friends, I would take the money that I would have to spend on all the requirements and meet everyone else who's going to skip this wedding at a bar and have a good time.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for all the stories. Sorry I didn't get to them all, but you know, we get caught up in these things when the things you send us. We're going to move on to the wonderful world of YouTube time now. And Becca, what have you been up to?
I did a solo stream last night. It was good, but I'm also biased. I have one coming up tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on my channel. And I'm doing the cream stream tonight on Irate Prostates channel.
Okay. And what is the schedule for your show with Bonsako and such?
We stream that Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday. We switch between our channels. Mm-hmm. So I'm Tuesday. Mr. Moo is I'm Monday. Moo is Wednesday. Sorry, we changed our schedule, so I'm still trying to figure it out. And Johnny Bonsako is Sunday. Mm-hmm. So, and the schedule is on my Twitter. It's also on the About page of my channel. So check it out.
What time of day does that happen?
It switches. Monday and Wednesday it's 10:30 p.m. Central, and Sunday it's 6 p.m. Central.
Okay. Let's see. Satsu, what have you been up to?
I uploaded a video today. It went up on my cooking channel. We made chicken and veggie curry, which was fucking delicious.
Mm.
Squishy cooked chili tonight. So we recorded that because the last time she cooked it, she didn't record it. So we made sure we got it this time around. And that's kind of it as far as that stuff goes. I've been moving into taking my cooking channel into a slightly different direction. It's kind of, the concept's going to be the same, but I'm actually thinking of making it more vlog-like, where I'm actually, instead of recording audio afterwards, like everything is done live and I'm in the video, and there's a lot of complications and issues that comes with doing it like that, but I'd like to try it if I can. So we'll see how that works out. I'm not super confident about it at the current moment because there are tons of factors in my house that prevent that from being a fully successful thing, but we'll see. And that's pretty much it for now.
All right. Thank you, Ace Phoenix. 46% of weddings end in divorce. 100% of divorces start with weddings. Think about it, people. Well, thank you, Alex Phoenix. Let's see. For myself, today, all I did was finish up the theme for the show tonight. And then tomorrow, I will be doing a TED Excellence. I have found one. As with most of the more recent ones, the title alone caught my attention, and the title of this one is so indecipherably corporate speak. I can't wait to find out what the nonsense terms mean. And I'm not kidding. Like you string these words together, one of which I had never even heard before. Like, what word is that? I had to look it up. It's like, okay, that's actually a word. I just never heard it before, and it's so bizarre that somebody's really trying to show off how fancy they are. So we'll be looking at that tomorrow. And I also found a two-parter. They took this conversation between these two people on like a Zoom thing or a Skype call or something. And it apparently covers two different topics, but it's all one call. So I'm debating, because combined, they make up about nearly 40 minutes of material. And I'm debating about either doing them in pieces, like do one and then do the other, or do one, unify the videos and do one giant TED Excellence. I'll probably do two if I do it at all, because I don't know if I could stand sitting there for that long going over whatever they're talking about, since it is technically two different subjects. So that's the stuff I've been looking at today. But of course, I have a litany of other ones I have sitting in the background, just waiting for the day that I decide to pull them out of the closet. But I came across some today that looked particularly interesting. So that'll be tomorrow at noon Pacific time, 2 p.m. Central time, 3 p.m. Eastern. Watch my Twitter for the posting on that. I'll probably throw that out there an hour or two beforehand. Let's see. I think that's all of my YouTube stuffs. Eric Peters says, "Oh my God, no more TED, please. Wear your mask. Tour your." No more TED. Well, it's not TED. It's TEDx. So it's a completely different thing until TED starts posting TEDx talks as TED Talks, which they have been lately, which is just stupid. But anyway, and thanks everybody for showing up and for all your support with the last couple of TEDx's with Sinatra on there, and most especially Mr. Toxic Masculinity the day or two before that. Holy cow, that one. Still boils my brain thinking about how that guy arrived at some of his conclusions and what he was doing to his students and so on. So, but with that, we'll go on to the wonderful world of thuggetry. Let me see. I don't think I have much, so I'll go first real quick. Yeah, that was just a joke. So Chris Eliza posted this today. I'm just going to read the tweet because it really is all that you need to read. So the tweet says, well, the tweet and the little sub box with the story that he posted, Joe Biden's secret weapon. Okay, that's the title of his article. Now, the first sentence, or the first couple of sentences, is all you need to hear or read about what Joe Biden's secret, and I emphasize that word, weapon is. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Ready.
All right, here's what it reads. Joe Biden is not Donald Trump. Like, literally, the former vice president and the current president are two entirely different human beings! Exclamation point.
Wow.
I am not kidding. That is something that a grown adult wrote as an article for a major news outlet as an editor at large, political analyst. And here's the thing, besides how ridiculously dumb that article is on its premise, as some kind of, first off, as news and or as analysis, the fact that candidate A is not Donald Trump is the same quote unquote secret weapon that Hillary had, that Bernie had, that Kamala had, that Andrew Yang had, that Buttigieg had, and on and on and on. Not being Trump has been the wedge weapon of every Democrat since Trump entered politics. It's not a secret. It's not particularly novel. It may be effective, depending on how things swing, but I don't even know what Chris was thinking. Well, he doesn't, but anyway. So that happened. Let's see what else. Oh, there was a notice today that Robin DiAngelo, the author of White Fragility, will conduct a training workshop for the University of Connecticut administrators this fall.
Oh, boy.
Going to a university to instruct administrators at a college. Sorry, university. Do you know what her fee is for doing this workshop at this college for, I assume, is like a day or two, maybe?
Oh,
If it is more than one day, I'll be surprised.
it's probably astronomical.
Well, throw out a guess.
I say 30,000.
Okay, Satsu. Well, you're both wrong. It's $20,000.
Ooh.
Oh,
But still, $20,000 for like maybe a day. I want to find. Actually, I should find out real quick. How long is she going to be doing this? How much labor? How much emotional labor is she putting in for this $20,000? Let's see. Does it show what the schedule is? I don't. If it says in here, I don't see it offhand. 10,000, 15. She even charges $320 per hour for a phone call.
what? That's attorney fees.
It's okay. It's a 3-day workshop, which probably comprises about, I'm going to guess, no more than 20 hours spread out over those 3 days. So $1,000 an hour, let's say, something like that.
That's amazing.
And I said on Twitter, my response was $20,000 for a workshop? Heck, I'll give a speech telling white people how inherently terrible they are for half of that. I'll be saying it sarcastically, but could anyone really tell the difference these days?
Well, the tripped out part about that is like, you'd never imagine that somebody come to you and be like, look, if you want, we will pay you a ridiculously large amount of money to come and tell whatever group you hate the most that they are scum.
Yeah.
And you get to, not only do you get to tell them that, you are literally teaching them to absorb this. So that way other people can also do this thing too. And it's legal. It's absolutely legal. You can do it, and we'll give you a large sum of money for it. And for somebody to be like, you know what? No, I don't want to do that.
Real quick, Jordan 250, thank you so much. Got to get back to work, but before I go, one happy birthday song, please. Is it your birthday, Jordan? All right, and Sinatra says, where's Monk? Monkey is out tonight because he didn't sleep at all, and he is trying to catch up on sleep. He wasn't feeling well, so that's why. All right, well, Jordan, apparently it's your birthday. So around here, we do this, and a 1, and a 2.
Happy birthday to you.
Look at that. She's getting braver now.
Happy birthday to you.
Keep it up. You got this.
Happy birthday, dear Jordan.
Oh, you're lowering it. Breaking it down.
Happy birthday to you.
She just walked away.
Happy birthday, Jordan. And thank you, Manic, for the Dog Cat Fox. Hiya. Hey, Dog Cat Fox. And my last piece of fucketry is Twitter let me know that today, I guess about an hour ago, is my 4-year anniversary on Twitter.
What?
And it said, would you like to have an auto-generated tweet to celebrate? And I was like, sure. And it says, do you remember when you joined Twitter? I do. Hashtag my Twitter anniversary. And then it gave me the space to put my own message. And I said, my God, I've spent 4 years here. Dear God, what the hell is wrong with me? And that is my 4-year anniversary. So that's about all I've got. So Satsu, what do you got?
I was behaving myself a good portion of the day, so I don't have a lot. Let me see. This was a good one. Biden put out a tweet today. Said, voting by mail is safe and secure. And if you won't take my word for it, take it from the president, who just requested his mail-in ballot for the Florida. Hold on, I got to get the rest of it. For the Florida primary on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's because he works in D.C. and is residing in Florida, and his permanent residence is there. That's why he has to do that.
And I'm just like, anybody want to tell Joe that you don't have to request a mail-in ballot?
Yeah.
If you have a built-in mail-in system, you don't have to request one. Nor do they send you an application for one. Although I heard in some places where they have mail-in voting, some places where they don't have mail-in voting, they will send you an application for an absentee ballot if you have circumstances that prevent you from being able to go vote.
Mm-hmm.
But that is under that specific scenario. And I'm trying to explain. I've been trying to explain to people. Oh my God! And it's okay. So let me see. And maybe I just got confused. But I'll read you guys the exchange here, because I'm like, maybe it's me. Maybe I was the one confused. But let's see here. I said you don't have to request a mail-in ballot. You request an absentee ballot. They are not the same thing. And somebody responded to me. Wait a minute. Did they delete their? No, they didn't delete it, right? They wouldn't delete it. Hold on.
Dirty deleters.
I see what's going on here. She said states with mail-in ballots, only like was that Washington or Oregon, send out ballots, but all other states will send an application for mail-in ballot. Application for a mail-in ballot. That's what she said. They don't just send out ballots without receiving an application. And I said to her, the ballot that you get an application for, that you have to request, is a ballot that you would have to mail in when you receive it, sure. But it is not a mail-in ballot. It is an absentee ballot. Those are two different things. And she responded, that's what I said.
Is it though?
And I'm like, did I miss something? Is that what she said? Am I stupid and just not getting it? Because that's not what you said, I don't think. I just wanted to make sure. It could be possible that I'm just not seeing that that's what she originally said. But that didn't sound like what she said to me. But yeah, I hate the way they set this up too. It seems like it's purposely confusing. And that annoys me. It annoys me greatly. I also saw a very disturbing video yesterday that I neglected to share of Planned Parenthood. It was a bunch of clips taken from people talking to doctors at Planned Parenthood of them providing them information about how they assist with sex trafficking. And they were asking them like, hey, look, we do sex work. This here is one of my girls or whatever. She's here for a test, but I have some questions for you. And she's like, I'll go ahead. And he's like, well, some of the girls that we deal with, and before they asked, they said, this is confidential, right? This is confidential. And she said, yeah, absolutely. He's like, some of the girls that we deal with are a little bit younger. And he said, range anywhere from 12 to 15. can they come here and get a test? And she's like, oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And you do not need parental consent. Like, there's no issue like that. You don't even have to worry about it. There's no issue. Just bring them in or whatever. And he was like, I just want to be clear. We're talking sex work here. And they're like, yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. We get people like that in here all the time. And I'm just like, and they did that. Like, this clip was taken in like 7 or 8 different places. And I'm like, okay, so this could be set up, but this needs to be investigated.
Yeah, it does.
Like, somebody needs to fucking look into this. Yes, sure. They could have set this up. They could have hired some people, gave them some money, told them to pretend like they're, but I don't think we should take that risk and just wave it off. Like, somebody probably staged this, because that's alarming.
Mm-hmm.
How nonchalant, like, dude, they were so just like, look, you didn't hear this information from me. And then the one chick was like, look, there are some legal things or whatever, maybe some hoops we may have to jump through or whatever. But if push comes to shove and for some reason you can't do it here, you didn't get this from me, take her to this place. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, what the fuck is this shit? So yeah, I really hope somebody's looking into that. I hope this video was effective in what it was trying to do, because even if it's not true, I'd like to know about it.
Sorry, I missed the first part of that. What are you talking about?
There was a video of some people who apparently went to a bunch of Planned Parenthood locations to talk to them about the children that they're trafficking.
Yeah, I just didn't hear what organization.
Yeah. Yeah, it was bad. By the way,
hey, yeah, they don't care. They don't care about anything that has to do with racism in their donations. They don't care about any of that shit. As long as they get the money, that's all they care about.
Hi, Sinatra.
Hey, Scribe, Becca, Satsu.
Hey, Sinatra.
What's up?
Do you have anything else, Satsu?
I think that was it.
All right. Becca, do you happen to have any fricketry for us?
Just one. Alyssa Milano tweeted out and said that Kamala and Pence debate is going to be weird. He doesn't like to speak to women directly without mother present, right? So I responded with, if only Alyssa's mother was present during her auditions, it could have prevented her Me Too stories and trips to the clinics.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
God damn.
So, yeah, that's my only one today. I worked late tonight, so I didn't get to play on Twitter today.
I never understood that whole Mike Pence thing. It's like, okay, so this guy has a personal policy of not being alone with a woman who's not his wife, as far as I understand it. Now, as far as I can tell, that would be the ideal man as far as how to be respectful to women if it were anyone else on any other side of the aisle. Like, he's reducing the possibility that there's going to be any problems or whatever. And isn't that what feminism wants, or the radical feminism wants out of men, is to pay respect to women, not objectify them, and on and on and on?
Well,
right.
It actually is, but it creates a problem too.
Mm.
It fixes issues that they complain about, so they need to turn it into a negative. The reason that he does that is because he hates women.
Yes,
obviously,
except his wife.
Except his wife.
Who's a woman.
Who's a woman.
Yeah. Okay.
I did find one more that I forgot about. Did you guys see the clip where it says Biden staffers rush the press out of the room before Joe Biden can answer any questions?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I saw that it exists. I didn't watch the video. What happens?
Well, I'm assuming they were asking Kamala some questions or whatever, and Biden was just kind of sitting on standby or whatever. And the moment they turned their attention to Biden to get ready to ask them some questions, they just started rounding everybody up and kind of pushing them out of the room.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was very, and Biden the whole time was like a kid with a coloring book. He was just sitting there, it looked like he was scribbling something down, and I'm like, he is not paying attention to anything that's going on.
You know what I'm curious about, and I don't mean this. Okay, and I have to make the distinction. I am not happy about the notion that Joe Biden has declining cognitive ability. Okay, I find it disturbing and ridiculous sometimes, and just sort of embarrassing to watch him operate.
Well, you sound awfully happy about it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so but just you know, we make fun of it because hey, it's life. But I'm not exactly happy because I've had family members who have suffered from dementia and Alzheimer's and things like that. So if he is experiencing that, I am curious to know if he doesn't have sundowners, wherein his abilities starkly decline later in the day you get. Because most times, as far as I can tell lately, we've only ever seen him talk in the afternoon, wherever he is. Which is why I am more curious as time goes on to see what happens in an evening debate that will have to be evening for primetime TV and the networks and everything. And I'm wondering if that's not a factor as to when we see Biden operating during the course of the day. And I'm not trying to put any conspiracy theories. I've just noticed that the only time we ever see Biden in any public forum or anything, it's usually during daytime and rarely in the evening time. So, anyway, all that being said, Satsu, do you have any? Oh, Satsu, was that it, Satsu?
Yeah, that's all.
Okay, Sinatra, you got 5 minutes. You got any fucketry?
A little bit. There's a video floating around of a bunch of white girls going through a drive-through, and this lady hands out an ice cream, and she just grabs the ice cream.
Yeah.
So the lady chucks the ice cream into the car, and all the girls are like, "Oh my God, did you see what she just did to us? How could she do this?" And it's like, you know how many times that's probably happened to this woman today?
Mhm.
And here you are thinking you're cute. You pull up to the window, and you have a camera pointed at her. Vertical, by the way. A camera pointed at her, and you're all giggling and laughing, and she's like, "Fuck these bitches," and just chucks it in.
Yeah.
And then people are like, "Well, she shouldn't do that to these girls. They're just trying to get their ice cream." No, no, they're not. How dumb do you have to be to just, they're getting ice cream with their hands on TikTok? Sure.
Yeah, I saw that shit, and I'm like, man, I don't know, man. Even if I was in the mindset that day, like, you know what, this job ain't so bad, it would have instantly transferred to, you know what, I'm about to lose my job today.
Yeah, she probably don't give a fuck. Like, I don't blame her at all.
Yeah,
And there's another video of this guy who had a little hole in his shirt, and these girls are trying to rip it off to look at his body, and he keeps taking their hands away and pushing their hands down, and they finally rip his shirt off completely. And it's like, that. Do you not see what you just did? He's clearly uncomfortable. He doesn't want you guys ripping off his shirt to look at him. He doesn't want to be bugged or objectified by you fucking hoes. And there's women in the comments going, but they just wanted to see his abs. Like,
Okay.
like I saw the video here, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a girl wanting to see his body, and that's all. Plus, the shirt was already ripped.
He was asking for it.
And yeah, it's like, so why is it okay? Could you imagine if it were the other way around and was a bunch of like
Oh yeah.
teenage guys ripping off a girl's shirt? Oh my God, people on Twitter would lose their fucking minds.
No, and rightfully so. But of course, this situation, it's like, oh, that's fine. Whatever.
Yeah, nobody gives a shit. It's just a guy. Who cares?
Yeah.
There was something else. You ever get those of you who watch porn, and I know you do, you lying fucks.
Mhm.
Do you ever see the cam soda pop-ups? Like a girl sitting there just looking sexy, doing something?
I have seen it. I don't see it that often, but sure.
There's a recording of a girl like doing a shoot for him, and she's like trying to sexily climb up the side of a bathtub and stick her leg in, and then she just falls face first into the fucking It's on my Twitter. It is fucking hilarious. She falls face first, and then she is just freaking out, and she's putting her hand up so the camera can't see her. Oh, I laughed for a solid like 5 minutes about it.
Dude, there have been several times I've gone to Pornhub, like, time to watch porn, and it's like 40 minutes of fucking bloopers. Like, well, how did this happen?
I sometimes fucking just watch the bloopers because they're hilarious.
They're so fucking funny, dude.
But today was the big day for my last bit of fucketry. I revealed super secret Project X.
Oh, what was it? Because
I'm going to throw a link in the chat to it. I took the money I got from stimulus and from a few very, very profitable streams, and I started my own business.
Oh,
Ooh. And what is your business?
It will be aquatic shrimp care and stuff like that. Actual shrimp, some fish, things like that. It is linked down there in the chat. You guys could take a look. I have food for them, the care, the filters, all the stuff you need for that, and actual shrimp.
nice.
I sold out of something already today, so
Wow.
not a
Nice.
bad start.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And that is my fucketry.
All right. Well, let me click on that real quick, and I will tweet that out. See, Sinatra Aquatics.
That's cool, dude.
Are you going to use your fish channel to advertise?
No, I am going to roll the fish channel into the second channel because that channel just refuses to get monetized. So,
Okay. Let's see.
the stimulus stimulated business. Exactly.
God forbid.
Stimulated.
Yeah, I actually used my stimulus and the stimulus you guys were kind enough to share with me. 6,000 of that money went to the government, so they handed it to me and I handed it right back to them. But I saved a little bit and did this.
So, the most important question to me is, what's the name of your mascot?
I don't know. Viper made it, so she has to name it.
Well, I don't. I was thinking you could hold a contest, naming contest.
Call them scrimps.
I was going to say Simpy the Shrimp.
Nah, I don't like that.
Simpy.
But anyway, naming contest aside, we are at the bottom of the hour, guys. That means it's your time. If you have questions, comments, concerns, complaints, conspiracy theories, if you have name suggestions for Sinatra's mascot, put them in the chat now. If you have questions for us directly, please put plenty of chat marks after those. If you have statements for us to consider, please put plenty of statement marks after those. And also be sure to check out links to Becca Fairley's YouTube channel and Twitter in the description. Take a look at her stuff. And if you like what you see, be sure to subscribe and follow. And for those of you watching live, you scroll up a little bit, check out Sinatra's new business website and bookmark that sucker in case you need any fish stuffs or you know someone who does. There's plenty of dentist's office out there who probably need his help.
Nobody important in the chat said, aren't shrimp hard to care for? I've been an aquarist for 30 plus years and I can't keep anything but ghost shrimp. Once you figure it out on the website, I actually have a guide to keeping shrimp on the little menu tab. You scroll down, it's at the basic guide to shrimp care. That's basically what you need to know. And if you have any questions from there, you can reach out to me on Twitter and I'll help you out.
Cannibalistic Wizard, have y'all noticed a massive increase on YouTube ads on pages and as played ads for TikTok since the ban talk?
I have not seen any ads.
I don't seek out TikTok videos myself, so
I am so petty. When I got demonetized, I installed ad blocker on everything. It's like, if I can't have the money, nobody can.
Let's see. Mono Winter, oh lords, have you seen / heard the rumors that Kamala Harris and Beau Biden had an affair? I think I might have heard that somewhere, but I always thought that the comment from Joe Biden or Kamala Harris was odd when she was talking about remembering Beau Biden and how during the recession they would call each other every day.
Yeah.
From across the country, and I was like, really? I mean, maybe they were working on something that crossed different jurisdictions. I don't know. It was just kind of an odd comment, but I've heard the rumor. I think I don't know if I'd be well. Who knows if there's any truth to it? I don't know.
Dealing with no fucking rumors and shit right now.
Yeah, there's no, and honestly, unless you've got at this stage of the game, I'd rather just focus on what she's done in her record, what she's actually said, than going off on birther stuff or sidewise affairs that mean, even if she did, it means nothing now. Like whatever.
Yeah, I don't like to discuss that shit unless you come in with some proof. Just because it's a waste of everybody's time, man.
Like I said, there's plenty of stuff to talk about that's on the temporal plane and not on the mental plane. Let's see. Tackle Papa, do you prefer fried or steamed shrimp? I think I've often just had steamed, so I don't know if have I fried. I must have fried at some point. I like them both, I guess.
What is this about Millie Weaver being arrested?
Who's Millie Weaver?
She is a reporter who works with InfoWars.
Oh, I saw a Twitter post about that. I didn't know who she was, but apparently she was She was arrested on a grand jury or something,
Grand jury indictment, yeah.
grand jury indictment, and she said something that she was just about to break some crazy huge story. I don't know who she is. I didn't know who she was until that tweet, so I have no information.
Huh. That doesn't seem right.
I guess it depends on what the indictment was for.
She's about to break a big story and they arrest her? Fucking yikes.
Yeah.
Well, if she was telling the truth, and B, if it actually has one has to do with the other. Angry Illinoisian, is the game stream canceled for the night because of Monkey? I believe so. Satsu?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was thinking about, because I'm probably going to be playing Phantasy Star anyway. I was probably just going to stream some Phantasy Star.
Okay.
Oh, because of she received banned government documents, apparently. So they got it for burglary. What?
That doesn't make sense.
I guess it would depend on how she received them.
That's fucking weird.
That's interesting. And then chat jump, because of course it did. Let's see. Mr. Scott J87. Which is better? Becca's better butter or Bubba's better butter?
Becca's better butter.
I don't know.
Becca's.
Okay, I'm a gentleman. I don't talk about ladies' butters when they're in the same room, at least. So, if she wants to endorse it, that's fine. Let's see. Keeverdam. Do sheep get static cling when they rub against one another? No, I think isn't like natural wool like not as static-y as others, or am I
Correct.
Yeah, I mean it's also natural wool is also relatively flame retardant. It doesn't burn very easily, so it's a very safe material.
As a family-friendly stream, Scribe.
Excuse me? Flame. Okay, never mind. Moving on. Let's see. Dr. No. Sinatra says, will Columbus make it to round 2 of the Stanley Cup?
Fuck if I know. What is that? Stanley Cup, that's NASCAR?
It's hockey.
Oh, I don't fucking pay attention.
Stanley Cup is NASCAR. Okay.
I don't pay attention to any of that.
I don't either.
I grew up. My dad is a big hockey fan. Took me to a lot of games when I was a kid. I'm not a hockey fan myself, but I know a little bit. And yeah, Stanley Cup. There you go. Let's see. Red Dirt Runner, Guff Boy Shrimp. Oh, sorry, Gulf Boy Shrimp. That means something to you?
No.
Or was that the mascot suggestion? Gulf Boy.
Maybe.
Is that supposed to be like a Golf City thing?
I think so.
Travis Gardner, Sanute, how do you get into shrimp? Oh, sorry.
Well,
Cut him. How did I get into them? It was a video I saw on YouTube like 2 years ago, and I've just been completely obsessed ever since.
was it that video you sent me? It was like it had like a tank, and it was like a lot of green.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
That did it for me.
Because you were, I remember you sending me that video, and that's what's crazy is I have no fucking idea what that video was about. All I remember is how excited you were about it.
It did it.
Dr. No says, Satsu, how is Squeetus, and did she do anything new yet?
She's good, and outside of having her first actual nightmare the other night.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was terrible.
Yeah, I wasn't ready for that. That was quite unexpected. But no, she hasn't really done anything. She's walking around like she owns the place, and she's starting to eat with her own hands now. And we're trying to get her to learn how to eat with utensils, which is fucking rocket science to her, because she is just like, stick this into my eye socket, and I'm like, no. What is wrong with you?
When I was over there and you were explaining it to me, I think that was the perfect way to put it. She needs something in each one of her hands and her mouth.
Yeah, like she's one of those kids who's like, whenever she's eating something, unless there's something in both hands and in her mouth, she acts like something is wrong. She's like, what's happening? Like, child, what is wrong with you?
Let's see. Red Dirt Runner says, Sinner the Shrimp. Yeah, that implies something else.
Yeah.
Pirates Creed Sinatra, just to let you know, there's some guy named Frank trying to ruin your brand, puts out a bunch of music. Let's see. And then chat jumped again. Okay. Dr. No Scribe Light, have you seen Falling Down starring Michael Douglas? Of course I have. I love that movie. It's a great movie. In fact, if I remember correctly, at one time Michael Douglas said that was his favorite role he's ever done. I don't know if that's still true, but yeah, that's a great movie.
It is.
Let's see. Daniel Fullman heard the story about Canon Hinant. The boy is shot by his black neighbor. Yes, I've seen that all over the place.
Yeah, people are finally talking about it. Oh, that was the other piece of fucketry I had, if you don't mind me.
Sure.
CNN posted about it, said, let me pull it up here.
Fucking finally.
It was, I think, 16 hours ago. So that would have been fucking, 3 in the morning?
Mm-hmm.
And they said, police have charged a 25-year-old man with a first-degree murder after they say he shot a 5-year-old boy last week. Completely left out the race, obviously, and completely just didn't even mention that it was execution.
Do we know actually what the motive is yet? Because it the way that was described to me, it sounds like the guy was just nuts.
Well,
he openly admitted to doing it.
Yeah, but I mean, do we know
No.
explanation?
I had an article about it. Let me see if I can pull it back up. Go ahead, Satsu.
Before you read the article, here's the most important question, though. If the little boy was black and the person was white and somebody just walked up to him and killed him execution style, would we need to know the motive?
Probably not.
It would be 100% set that it was absolute racism, and this is just another example of what black people have to deal with every day in America. There wouldn't be a question about the motive. Nobody would...
I know. I just get curious about these things. I don't know.
I had the article earlier. I guess somebody was commenting that it's payback, but the guy who did it, it was alleged that he was riding on his lawn.
Okay.
So he just walked outside and shot him. And then on Facebook, some guy was like, this is payback for all the George Floyd or something like that.
Okay, well.
And he came out and said that wasn't him. It was his brother who did that.
Yeah, he tried to say, oh, my account got hacked.
Right.
Oh, gosh.
Let's see. Travis Gardner, Scribe, have you ever been into photography? Well, I mean, I've looked at photographs before.
Well, there you go.
Motto Winter, oh lords, would you rather lobster and shrimp pizza or drink a tomato, basil, and onion smoothie? I do lobster and shrimp pizza. That sounds all right.
I'll do the first
Both
one.
of those together? That sounds pretty good. Pretty good combination.
Yeah, I've had seafood pizza before. It was fine. Tackle Pekka, what was everyone's favorite horror movie series? Favorite horror movie series?
Annabelle.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, I was about to say, growing up, probably Nightmare on Elm Street. Maybe Halloween just behind that. But yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street was always the one that I kind of went to.
Probably Friday the 13th.
Okay. Harvest Marvis, have you ever heard of a movie called Manitou? Yes, I have. I know the name, and I can kind of almost see the box art or something, or the poster art, but I don't know if I've ever seen it. I've heard of it. Let's see. P-Dog Knight. Oh, lords, would you buy me a Mercedes Benz? No, I wouldn't. I can't afford cheese. Oh, sorry. I don't know. Would you buy Mercedes Benz?
No. I have the article here. Quote, he's white. It's time for revenge, unquote. Black Lives Matter supporter praised the execution of a 5-year-old white boy. So that's what he said. But then he's like, oh, my brother said it.
Yeah, they had the his actual rebuttal. They didn't put the original tweet there, but they put the rebuttal there.
Okay. So it wasn't the shooter that said that, it was some guy on Facebook.
No, yeah, it was just something.
Okay.
I have the original post here. What is Ion?
It's I don't give a fuck. That's how it's pronounced.
Ion give a shit. He is white. It's time for revenge. We tired shit over now. We shooting y'all cause go cry to your mama.
Damn.
Right.
Yeah. Apparently, there's a lot of people though who follow this dude's Twitter, and they're like, "Yeah, that shit came out of nowhere. It's completely out of character for what he posts." And anybody who's been following him for a long time knows that it wasn't him. So I'm inclined to believe him. I just,
But dude, some of the comments on CNN's tweet are fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah,
It's like anybody saying a 25-year-old black man is a racist,
oh yeah, like
bringing his race into it.
yeah, describing the dude as a 25-year-old black man is racist.
OMG, a child is dead, and people are, letter R, discussing color of the gun owner. And then somebody went through their Twitter and found out how many times they mentioned race.
Yeah. All right. Gulf City, Scott Marsh, red head photographs. If your photographs have hair on them, you got other problems.
Yeah, you might want to get a new camera.
Yeah. Something's going on there. Stargazer Sinatra says, "Is your business strictly internet based?"
For now, yes.
Okay. Do you intend at some point to have a brick and mortar location?
That is the goal at some point, to open up a brick and mortar store. That is the overall goal. Yeah.
All right, Sinatra, we got to talk business. Check this out. A little shrimp growing business, and I'm gonna put a shrimp restaurant in it. So that
I think people might be put off by that.
we'll make it work.
He grows the shrimp and then he feeds some to you to use in your dishes.
See, there you go.
Yeah, it's like so you have them for pets, and then you can go next door and eat some. Which do you prefer? Red Dirt Runner, oh lords, would you all eat 10 HR smoked ribs, 10 hours smoked ribs that are fall off the bone, beans, stewed apricots, and a nowhere but Texas, it's a beer. Oh, well, I don't drink beer. I don't know about the apricots, but everything else sounds fine.
Yeah, I haven't had the pleasure of experiencing smoked meats in my life, which I feel so depraved.
They are awesome.
They are very good.
That's what I keep hearing, and I keep seeing everywhere. I just
Ace Phoenix, would you like to see the Skylark book series adapted to a movie franchise? I have no idea what that is.
I'm not a big fan of ribs, pork, shit like that.
It's because you ain't had mine yet.
Check your logic. Is it weird that I dreamt that I watched Lords of the Night?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Satsu's the one dissenting opinions. Becca?
Look, if you were over 1,000 episodes in on Lords of the Night at this point, it is not unusual to have at least one dream about it.
I agree with that.
Angela Argus says, flip that Halloween, the Nightmare. No. A Nightmare on Halloween. That would be the crossover movie that needs to be made.
Nightmare on Halloween Street.
Nightmare on Halloween. Yeah, I'm not kidding. If they were going to do a Freddy versus Michael Myers movie, it would have to be called A Nightmare on Halloween, and it'd be great. Let's see. Attack Alpaca. Has Sinatra ever seen Ghastly and Drunken Uncle's actual faces?
Yes.
All right. Ziogo, low lords for $1 million. Would you change your name to? Okay, now whenever I see something like that, I always get twitchy that I'm going to read something and it's going to be phonetically making me say something awful. That'll be caught on YouTube saying something terrible when somebody puts in like funny names. So I'm hesitant to even read whatever those are or even try to sound them out because I feel like it's a trap.
You mean something like this?
Oh my God, we're full of fucking other dudes.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that. Let's see. Mr. Scott 87. Oh, lords, would you try a saxophone?
Oh, damn it, Mr. Scott.
I don't know what that refers to.
I was reading a story about a saxophone and said saxophone instead because it's an old band joke.
I see.
So he's bringing it to light.
Becca, stop playing that damn saxophone.
There you go. James Colley. Oh, prefect name. Prefect? That is one prestigious shrimp you're going after here. Prefect name for the Sinatra and Satsu crossover. Oh, store restaurant. Before and after. I like it. Let's see. Mono Winter. Oh, lords, why has Scribe been cheesing? I'm always pretty cheesy. honestly.
You know what?
Have you listened to my TEDx talk?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like 30% of his entire personality is bad jokes and cheese.
Yeah, pretty much.
Look, if we're gonna just go ahead and get straight to the point with this idea, we might as well call it what it is, and
No. What's
we'll
that?
call it generational genocide.
Ha!
Wow. Generational genocide.
Yeah.
All right.
Shrimpicide.
Shrimp aside.
Ace Venus, Scribe, check out The Skylark of Valeran. Such a great book if you can get a hold of it. I never heard of it. Is it sci-fi or something? Red Dirt Runner, Satsu, if you all take a vacation, we will hook you up on the smoked meat.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, if you're going to Texas, I guess.
Tejas.
Tejas. Pirates Creed, how often is Drunken Uncle actually an uncle and drunk? How often are you an uncle? Well,
I think you're an uncle up until the point that all your nieces and nephews die.
oh,
What? I was just giving a literal answer.
yeah. Does Drunken Uncle actually drink? I don't even know.
That is an excellent question.
Oh yeah, he gets shitty drunk.
Okay. Let's see. No One Nowhere. Millie Weaver put out a document, #Shadowgate, updating on the evolution of the things exposed by Snowden under Brennan's control. Oh, so was she like? Well, she was doling out state secret stuff. Yeah. If she's fallen into the that wonderful world, yeah, probably not justified. Especially with the whole when the New York Times reprinted the stuff that WikiLeaks dropped or that Snowden dropped, they weren't all arrested. I mean, if you receive information from an outside source and you reprint it as a journalist, you don't get charged with the crime unless you were involved in the illegal attainment of that information.
Right, and last time I checked, there were a lot of people, defending that premise before when it.
Yeah.
So
unless she had a direct hand in acquiring classified information in an illegal fashion, if she just had it transmitted to her from an unrelated source or something, that's journalism. That's a protect your sources and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know what the situation is with Millie Weaver. Like I said, I've never heard of her before now, so couldn't tell you. But that precept has always kind of bugged me when people get arrested on it if you're a journalist. Check your logic. I dreamt that here we go. I dreamt that Scribe was hosting Lords of the Night and he had Weibo on and some other YouTuber named the Archfiend. The Archfiend. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a YouTuber named the Archfiend. I'm vaguely thinking I might have been. Was there in the olden days? I think there might have been somebody who had that moniker.
I'd be very surprised if there isn't a YouTuber.
Well, yeah, no, I know. I'd be surprised. If I'm trying to think. Did I ever know anybody? Yeah, what?
I looked up the Archfiend, and the first video that popped up is Ben Shapiro and some wet ass pussy.
All right, I'm not like in the olden days of based mama streams and stuff like that. I think there was somebody who at least used that. It might not be the same person that Sinatra's talking about. I don't know. I
don't think it is now.
Probably.
Whatever happened to Base Mama, by the way? She just kind of cut and run with that money, didn't she?
Yeah, after the whole Kilroy thing, I haven't heard hide nor hair of her since that time, so I have no idea what happened to her. Let's see. Ace Phoenix. Yeah, Skylark series of books are sci-fi, really good at science-y stuff, right up your alley. Okay, well, I'll see. Oh, Mike Savage says Skylark series is space opera sci-fi. Oh, okay. Zeo Gold. Oh, Lords, for $1 million, would you change your name to? I'm not going to read gimmick names. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know if I'm going to say something that I shouldn't say or in another language it's going to be like problems or something. Stop setting me up. Mono Winter, oh Lords, how much would Scribe have to be paid for Drunkle to do a TEDx with him? Oh God. Oh God. How much would I have to be? Well, see, okay, I wouldn't have to be paid. If I decided to invite Drunkle on, I'd invite Drunkle on. He doesn't pay me anything. I'm not going to put a bounty on it or anything.
If I were you, I would put a bounty on kicking him.
Well, Yeah, no, I really do enjoy doing the tandem TEDx's. I've had a good time with it so far. Like the first one I did with Tail Feature was hilarious. Oh my God, I had so much fun with that one. And especially the second one with the guy with the brick. He brings out the brick, the giant cinder block as his metaphor for something. It was fucking hilarious. That if you want to watch that one, that was really funny. The thumbnail reads guy anxiety, because the guy was talking about toxic masculinity. So if you want to find that one with Tail Feature, and I look for the thumbnail that says guy anxiety. It's probably a few back, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it really, when it comes, I want to have Irate Bear on. Sorry, Irate Alex. I'm still learning. Change my mind on the whole thing. I want to have Alex on. At some point, I want to get like P-Dog and Weibo and your boy Pat. I want to get everybody on at some point for something. I feel like I should find ones that in some way speak to a topic they're familiar with. So at least it's something that we can talk about together. It's kind of hard to decide what that is, though. So we'll see. It depends on when I feel like it and or time and scheduling and all that. Random American Irate Bear was a better name. I mean, it's the one I'm used to. Better. I don't know.
I know why he changed names, but
oh, there was a reason. Oh.
Yeah, there is a big reason why, and I think it's very shady. But that's just me. I'll tell you after the show.
Okay, Mr. Scott, if you bring Drunkle on, find a TEDx on alcoholism. Yeah, so that'd really be a depressing one, though. I mean, the thing is trying to find TEDx's that have like bizarre subject matter or subject matter that is likely bizarre. Like I don't watch them before I do them, so I'm still waiting for that TEDx that is just completely useful and boring. Like the last couple that I thought this is going to be a boring stream, guys. I just have a feeling this is going to be educational, and then it was completely bizarre. So I don't know if I just have like the Midas touch of finding the shittiest TEDx videos ever. But,
I don't know, man. The one you found for us was pretty good.
I mean, it was, truth be told, that was relatively mild. Especially, I mean, of course, my threshold has been risen so high after Chromosome Lady and after...
Dude, we watched that on my channel, and fucking A, was that bad.
It was bizarre. And then just the other day, Mr. Professor Toxic Masculinity. How do we address toxic masculinity with love?
I watched that one after our show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That guy, he sounds like he's just been bullied his entire fucking life.
I know. I mean, you watch these things and you hear these guys talk on the stage, and it's like watching someone confess how much their self-esteem is shot. Like, I learned about toxic masculinity after I read this book, and I realized that I was a terrible person, and so I needed to let you know how terrible I am, and I can help you not be terrible too, because obviously you're terrible as I am because you're man too. I mean, it's really hard for me sometimes to tell the difference between someone who is doing this on some sort of malicious, manipulative level, or if they have so internalized these messages that they actually feel like they're doing good by promoting misery to people,
I think these people are half fucking masochists. They like to make other people feel bad.
Well, I always come down to the Dr. Doom paradox, where anyone from an objective standpoint is looking at what you're doing going like, dude, that's fucked up. But from your own perspective, you honestly believe that you are doing the right thing. Like in this guy's head, I didn't get anything from that guy that told me he's doing this as a sales pitch. He's doing this for some narcissistic control or something. I mean, obviously there's some narcissism going on there because he was like, oh, I'm perfect or whatever before this whole toxic masculinity thing happened. But yeah, I mean, is it malicious, or is it just self-wretchedness? I don't know sometimes. Maybe it's both. It's hard to tell, but from one TEDx tree. But that guy in particular was just the most recent one. Then you have like the lady who is embarrassed by the fact that her daughter, her little 5-year-old daughter, has blonde hair because that contributes to her white privilege.
Yeah. Shit
like that. Or that lady who was just so, the one teacher who was like, I had this student, he did terrible in class, and as a white lady, I have to accept my role. in the damage that was being done to him. You know, that's like, good God.
Ugh.
Anyway, Mr. Scott, oh my God. Ugh. Yeah, Becca's just got it. I mean, I should just go on every TEDx stream and just that should be the only thing I say. It's like, ugh.
Some shit in videos, that is my only response to it. I'm like, ugh.
Oh, that Brian
Gross.
Stelter thing you did today? Jesus, that guy. I was like, do you even... Okay, you cannot be this dense about what your own outlet does. What you do as a career. You are such a liar. You are such a scumbag. Oh my!
And it was just pure projection.
Yes. Well, I mean, it would be if it was unconscious projection. It was some kind of like ego self-defense mechanism. That'd be one thing. But he cannot be that blind to his own process. He is being willfully manipulative of people by saying this stuff like it's some revelation. And plus the fact how much he just kept pushing off his evidence. Spent like 5 minutes playing up, you'll never believe what they said. Oh my God, they're so awful. And then it was like, you know, I think Biden's really losing it. I think his mind is not good. I think he belongs in a nursing home. Can you believe they said that about an 86-year-old? What the fuck?
I saw just the clip that was floating around about, do you think that there's any left-wing accounts or mediums that attack Trump like this? That's the clip I saw. When I watched the whole thing, I was like, oh my God, get to the fucking point, you clickbait human being.
I mean, talk about... Anyway, with all that, guys, we are at the top of the hour and thus the end of the show. Oh boy. Tell you what. Something else, and thank you, Becca Fairley, for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Guys, be sure to check out Becca's link to her YouTube channel in the description below, as well as her Twitter. Be sure to check her out, follow her, subscribe to her, all that good stuff.
Ask her for nudes.
Good luck on that one. I can give you good ass crack team photos.
I didn't say your nudes.
What about Becca's butter?
Her
Never
nut
mind.
butter.
Sinatra, thank you for joining us at the last minute, even though you didn't beg for it.
Yeah, no, I'm not begging. You can have me on or you won't.
I know.
Bitch. Thank you for having me, sir. I appreciate it.
Satsu, as always, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, whatever.
Monkey in absentia, I hope you feel better very soon, and we see you tomorrow.
You're a bitch too, monkey.
Speaking of which, tomorrow, guys, unless something changes, now be sure to follow us on Twitter for all the notices and such. We'll be on Monkey's channel at the regular time, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern for Lords of the Night. But everyone, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I really do appreciate it. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though our audience is the most well-behaved in all of YouTubedom. And everyone who donated, thank you so much for your generosity. I can't promise I'll open up a shrimp store, but you never know.
Fair.
Maybe I'll open up a BDSM shop somewhere.
I'd be down for that.
It's not impossible. I have to think about what I would name a hypothetical Scribe's BDSM store. Anyway, all that, guys. I lost my train of thought.
No.
Yes. Anyway,
Scribe
again,
DSM.
No. Becca, Satsu, Sinatra, again, thank you for joining me. Everyone, your lives make us sad, and we will see you tomorrow.
Fuck off.
Good night.
Oh my God, we're full of fucking other dudes.
And on that note, I get out my copy of Screw the Roses, Send Me the Thorns, the romance and sexual sorcery of sadomasochism. And today's, if I get to a page with words on it, today's secret word is body bags.
What? Right.
I'm not making that up. It's a term for where it's a type of restraint.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yeah, but the term is body bags. So, bye, everybody.
That's pleasant.
Yeah.